Hi there, Davey Cretin for Cretin Classics. In this episode, we are doing a concert review of one of my favorite bands of all time, Dream Theater. I bought a shirt at the show. We are talking about the last day of their American tour, 2025. Their last tour date of 2025. This was Saturday, December 25th, a few days back, at the Nassau Coliseum, Nassau County, Long Island. And I've seen plenty of shows there. Going back to 1980, I've been seeing shows there for 45 years, much like most of the band, even longer in Mike Portnoy's case. But at any rate, before I start this concert review, I want to give a special shout out from my friend Jack Toledano from his YouTube channel, All or Nada, according to Jack. Because before the show, my girlfriend and I, Tia and I, went out to dinner with Jack, and he introduced me to Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility and his brother, Rich Pardo, also who's been on Sea of Tranquility. And they did a cool concert review you guys should check out too. They beat me to the punch. They're faster than I am. What could I say? They're old pros at this, and I'm a newbie. So Saturday, October 25th, last day of their tour for 2025, but they are playing shows in 2026. They're playing the Far East, and they're playing Australia. And I hope my friend Peter Kerr from Rock Daydream Nation can make the show. He's thinking about going, so you should go, Peter. Now, of course, we have the quote-unquote classic lineup back of Dream Theater here, because Mike Portnoy rejoined the band a few years ago. He's on drums and backing vocals, John Mayung on bass, John Petrucci on lead guitar, rhythm guitars, backing vocals, James Labrie on lead vocals, a little bit of backing vocals here and there, and Jordan Rudess, the Wizard, on the keyboards. So the Fearsome Fivesome are back together. Now this tour, this leg of the tour, I should say, that just finished, they started with the whole Parasomnia album. And I do have a lot of show and tell. You may have seen in the thumbnail. If I can get my thumbnail on this video, I will try my best. I have some very cool show and tell items at the end of my video. So they opened the show with the 8 songs from Parasomnia. Now before that, the stage was dark. There was a bed in the front of the stage. There were like lampposts, like street light posts, street lamps there. There was like a forest on the backdrop. So it was a very intriguing way to start the show. And of course, Mike's drums were covered by a big black tarp. And the whole arena was in black, sort of like the shirt and the theme of the album cover and the color of it. And all of a sudden the music, they were playing like this classical music, and it got much louder and louder. And it was Prelude by Bernard Herrmann. And it got louder, and boom, at 8 o'clock, the show started. They went right into the song, the first song, In the Arms of Morpheus. And when that sick riff comes in, after all the sound effects, really cool. And they were really loud, too. More on that later. Night Terror, one of my favorite songs from the new album, was second. Then you got A Broken Man, which might be my least favorite song on the album, but I do like it more and more. I like the chorus. Maybe the verses aren't my favorite. And I love the middle section. It's really good. That went into Dead Asleep, which is an 11-minute mini epic. And it has one of the best choruses on the album. So Dead Asleep, really good song. Midnight Messiah was next, which was a single, lyrics by Portnoy. Then you had the 1-minute sort of instrumental interlude with some spoken word stuff called Are We Dreaming, which went into Bend the Clock. Now, Bend the Clock, people have been talking about this since the album came out, 9 months ago in January? They've been talking about John Petrucci's guitar solo. And when I did the album review, I do have a lot of Dream Theater content on my channel. Check it out. When I did the album review, I said I really liked this song, but just seeing him play that guitar solo live, and there were some steps going up toward the drum riser on either side of the stage, and he stood on one of the steps, and they had these cool like laser lights during the show, and they had a cone of, I think, green lights, like a green beam of light surrounding him, and I think it was spinning around as he's doing the guitar solo, and it just added to the effect. It was really good. Arguably the best solo of the night? Possibly. Petrucci is a great player. There's no denying it. And this song, he sort of slows it down a bit and plays more for the song, so I like that about this solo. Then, of course, came the epic, the 19-minute long, the Shadow Man incident. And I had noticed earlier, while they were performing the album, some roadies rolled out what looked like a laundry cart, and they just left it there. And I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, I wonder what that is. When I saw Foreigner in 1981 at the same venue, Nassau Coliseum, and I think it was Rush on the Presto tour, Foreigner had big inflatable jukeboxes, at least one, maybe two on either side of the stage. And Rush had big inflatable bunnies for the Presto tour in 1989. I was on the floor for that show. Great Rush show. At any rate, so I'm thinking they're probably going to have a big Shadow Man, like a 10-foot Shadow Man thing, come out of this, what looked like a laundry cart. And I was right, except it was about 25 feet tall. It was huge, this huge Shadow Man, just scary creature, perfect for Halloween, right? Which is coming up in a few days here in North America, well, in the States, I should say. So that was the whole first album. And then, of course, they had, because, Portnoy, he knows his movies, knows his TV shows. They played Let's All Go to the Lobby for the intermission, which was a short intermission, maybe 20 minutes. Unfortunately, because of the way they set up the Coliseum and they only let you go to your section, we couldn't meet up with Jack and the Pardo brothers. They couldn't come and see us. And it was too short for them to get to their floor seats up to where Tia and I were. Then, right before Act 2, the whole Parasomnia record, they called Act 1. So Act 2, they started with something that I knew because I'm a Marillion fan. And Marillion's double live album, the last thing they officially put out with Fish from, I think, 1988, was called The Thieving Magpie. And they have this classical instrumental piece, and it's by, and I hope I don't butcher his name, Gioacchino Rossini. And it's called La Gazza Ladra, which I think translates to The Thieving Magpie, if I am correct. So they had that classical music, open up set 2, and then the 9th track of the night, Take Me As I Am. Well, it's called As I Am, but the chorus is Take Me As I Am. As I Am, I love that song. I love Petrucci's lyrics. I love his riffing in the song. It's just a really good way to start a set. And I was rocking along to that one. Now, I knew that they were going to play the whole Parasomnia album, and I knew what the encore was, but I didn't know about all these middle songs. So very cool to see As I Am. I've seen them play that before in the past. Then we got, from the self-titled album, let me pull it out of my pile here if I can, just Dream Theater, we got The Enemy Inside. And Mike Portnoy is not on this album. This has Mike Mangini on it. So it's pretty cool to see that they pulled out one non-Portnoy song and that he's cool enough to do stuff from when he wasn't in the band. So I admire him for that. Kudos to you, Mike Portnoy. Then they did Peruvian Skies, which of course is from Falling Into Infinity, an underrated Dream Theater album, I think. And sometime next year I will be ranking the Dream Theater catalog on my channel here. In this song, besides just doing Peruvian Skies, they interspersed classic rock songs, prog rock songs. They had a little bit of the Soon section of Gates of Delirium by Yes. Also some Metallica, Nothing Else Matters, Wish You Were Here by Floyd, and then back into the heavy riff from Wherever I May Roam by Metallica. So Peruvian Skies was really cool because they interspersed some metal and some classic prog in there. Then they had a short clip from The Wizard of Oz. There's No Place Like Home. And I knew what was coming next, even though I did not look at the set list. I generally don't like to know the set list before I see a show. I find it much better when you're surprised. But I knew by that clue they were playing Home. And from Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. They played all 11 plus minutes of Home in all its glory. This was the tour debut. Just like when they did the last leg of the tour and ended at Radio City, it was the only time they've ever done the song The Best of Times. This time they pulled out Home, a song they've done plenty of times, but great song, always good to see that. Petrucci was on fine form on that song. Then we got Take the Time from the classic Images and Words album. Now this was the abridged version because Labrie, there's so many words in this song. And even doing catch breaths for Labrie, a certain way of singing, it's impossible to sing it, especially 34 plus years on since he last recorded it in 1991. The record came out in 92. So Portnoy behind the drum kit, he's drumming, and he starts singing the first verse, wait a minute, hold it now. And then he said, just let James catch his breath. And he did I've Seen the Promises, I've Seen the Mistakes, did the whole thing. And then Labrie came in, James Labrie came in with the really high, where he holds the note. I think it's time for a change. And he came in for that. And he sang the rest of the song. They did skip the part where, oh geez, what are the heck of the lyrics? Well, there's a part of it where he's singing so fast, it's almost like rapping. And they skipped that section, which appears, I think, twice in the song. So it was an abridged version, but it was still cool. They also threw in a little excerpt of Tom Sawyer. That's Dream Theater quoting Rush, one of their biggest influences. Then another short break, and we got a movie clip from the Robin Williams Chestnut, Dead Poets Society. And everyone knew what was coming next. From 1995, the EP, that's really an album because it's an hour long, the 23-minute epic, A Change of Seasons, was up. And they did all 7 parts: The Crimson Sunrise, Innocence, Carpe Diem, The Darkest of Winters, and they threw in The Darkest of Winters, Part 4, they threw in a bit of When the Levee Breaks from Liquid Tension Experiment, that little ragtime section with Jordan on piano. They just threw that in there. They've done that before. Part 5, Another World. Part 6, The Inevitable Summer. Part 7, The Crimson Sunset, with a short excerpt of A Fortune in Lies. So going back to the very first album from 1989. It ended with that, with the end of A Change of Seasons. They took their bows and they left the stage to Arthur Freed. And let me see if I could get this. Nacho Herb Brown's song, Singing in the Rain. Everyone knows that classic because it was made popular by you-know-who, the dancing man himself. Fred Astaire, he's Singing in the Rain from a very old movie from back in the day. Even quoted by John Petrucci in a Dream Theater song from Falling into Infinity, Take Away My Pain. So you got really 14 songs if you include A Change of Seasons as one whole song. 14 songs covering 7 albums. It was a really good show. Now, during A Change of Seasons, my watch all of a sudden was vibrating, beeping on my arm. I looked at it, and it said the decibel level was 99 decibels, then 100, and it said, and I wore earplugs during the whole show. Sounded good to me, but the lower end sounded a little muddy. But everyone else I spoke to said the sound was great. So I think it was the fact that I had earplugs in at the lower end, the bass and the drums sounded a little muddy. But I've heard worse sound at shows, but everyone else said the sound was good. So when I saw that the decibel level was at 102, Tia quickly put in some earplugs for the rest of the show. So the show was loud, it's heavy metal, it's progressive metal. Let's get on with the show and tell here. Obviously, I have the new album. I did a review of this album. I also have a video where I do a review of the first single, Night Terror, on my channel. I have the last studio album before that. It's A View from the Top of the World. Yes, A View from the Top of the World. Digipack also on this. I took the booklets out of the jewel cases, so there's no shine on these, no reflection. The self-titled, like I said, with Mike Mangini, just like A View from the Top of the World. Now we're going to get into the interesting stuff. The Dream Theater official bootleg of Iron Maiden, the cover of the whole album, The Number of the Beast. And this is with the Fearsome Five Sim. We just saw Labrie, My Young, Petrucci, Portnoy, Rudess. They do the whole album, all 8 songs on here. Then a very cool one, a 2 CD set. Dream Theater does the whole Dark Side of the Moon album, and then they do a bunch of extra songs, extra content, extra Floyd covers on here. 2 CD set. I'll show you the track listing after. Now, this album, I saw them perform in Manhattan, although this was taped in Spain. I think, yes, Barcelona, Spain, 2002. I saw it in Manhattan, Beacon Theater. I was front row for that Dream Theater show. I think it's the only time I've ever been front row at a concert. Beacon Theater, they covered all of Master of Puppets. You got the Fearsome Fivesome here, and you got Jordan doing a lot of the guitar sounds on his keyboard, so it's very cool. This was before he actually played guitar, which he now does. So this is really cool. And then all of the first album that Charlie Dominici, rest in peace. I did a tribute to Charlie here on the channel. One of my first videos, my second video, actually. When Dream and Day Reunite. And this has special guests on it. Charlie Dominici and Derek Sherinian, too. Plus the 5 aforementioned gentlemen. So I'll tell you the tracks on that. And then just to end the show and tell, I have the 2 CD best of. Greatest Hit plus 21 other really cool songs. 2 CD set on Rhino that came out many moons ago. You have, sorry, the lights are dim here. 22 songs. So it is called Greatest Hit and 21 other pretty cool songs is the title of it. 2 CD set there. Nothing really over 12 minutes on here because you can make a double CD and only have like 6 or 7 Dream Theater songs because they have so many 18-minute songs. Number of the Beast, yep, just the 8 songs. Dark Side of the Moon has all of Dark Side. And then, oh boy, it has Echoes Part 1, One of These Days, Sheep, very cool. In the Flesh, Run Like Hell, Hey You, and Comfortably Numb. And they call that the bonus disc, a saucer full of Floyd. So that's very cool. Yeah, the jewel case is reflecting on camera. Sorry about that. All of Master of Puppets I showed you. And when Dream and Day Reunite, the bonus encore on here is To Live Forever, which is a great B-side. I played that song recently. Excellent song. I always love that song. And Metropolis. And those feature the guest stars of Derek Sherinian and the late, great Charlie Dominici. So the show is really good. I give it a thumbs up. I had fun. Tia liked it. She likes the spectacle of the metal show. And it was great seeing Jack again in person. We've hung out a few times. And getting to meet from Sea of Tranquility, Pete Pardo and Rich Pardo. Very cool. So it was a great night all around. Saturday, that was October 25th of 2025. Thank you for watching. I want everyone to like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel here, Cretin Classics. Have you ever seen Dream Theater before? I've seen them 36 times. If I add in all the solo and side projects from all these guys, it's almost like my Yes concert attendance total, probably closer to 50 shows altogether, because I've seen a bunch of LTE shows and a bunch of Mike Portnoy side projects over the years. I want everyone to rock out, prog on, and pogo. Tell us about your Dream Theater concert experiences. That's about it. Davey Cretin for Cretin Classics. Thank you very much. Take care and have a great upcoming holiday season. And have a fun and safe Halloween. Boo! Bye-bye.